Hey guys, what's up? So today we're going to be looking at the cuboid, okay? And we need to know how to find the volume of a cuboid, and we need to know how to find the total surface area, okay? And if we look at the cuboid here, we see it has a width, it has a height, and it has a length, okay? Where the length is the longest distance here from here to here. Right, where the length is the longest distance here from here to here, right? The height is clearly the perpendicular height, which is right here from here to here. And the width is from here to here, right? Okay, so if you look at it, you can see it's basically 6 rectangles attached together, right? This is the first rectangle, this is the second, this is the third, this is the fourth, this is the fifth here, and this is the 6th on the bottom, right? So it's basically 6 rectangles attached to each other. That's how you should look at the cuboid, okay? Right, so it's basically 6 faces for the cuboid, just like the cube, but the sides have different lengths, okay? So the width and the height and the length are different in terms of the distances. Cool, unlike the cube before, where all the sides had the same length, okay? So to find the volume of a cuboid, the volume is equal to the length multiplied by the width multiplied by the height. Cool. And of course the volume would be in meters cubed or centimeters cubed and so on. And the total surface area of the cuboid, as we know, the total surface area is just the area of the surface, the area of the 6 faces that we can see on the cuboid. And it would be 2 times the width times the height, right? The width times the height would be this area, this first area here. Then 2 times the length times the width, which would be this area here, the area on top or the area on the bottom, this one here, right? Inside here. And 2 times the length times the height, which would be this area here, right? That one on the sides, okay? And you can see it's 2 times. It makes perfect sense. Let me just clear this a bit. All right, guys, so I cleared the cuboid for you so we can look at it and see exactly why it would be 2 times the width times the height and so on. If we look here and here, right, we can see that the width times the height would give us the area for this rectangle and the area for that rectangle. Hence, we get 2 times the width times the height, right? Then the length times the width now, that would be this rectangle here on top, right, where the width is here and the length is here. Cool. So that would be for this top rectangle and for this bottom rectangle underneath it here, right? This would be the second one. So hence 2 times the length times the width. Cool. And for the last one now, it would be this side here, right? This side here would be 1, and the second side would be over here, which is the length times the height. Hence, we get 2 times the length times the height and 2 times the length times the width, okay? So the total surface area makes perfect sense for that formula. We see exactly why that is what it is, right? Now, right, we can also factor out 2 out of this equation here, and we will end up getting 2 multiplied by everything in here, the width times the height, plus the length times the width, plus the length times the height, right? Which makes perfect sense, okay? So I would advise that you use this one since you don't have to multiply 2 by everything. Just add up the width times the height, plus the length times the width, plus the length times the height, then multiply everything by 2, all right? And it says here where L is the length of the cuboid, which is the length on that side, the longest part, where W is the width of the cuboid, how thick it is, which is right here, and H is the height of the cuboid, how tall it is, right? So great. All right, guys, so that's the cuboid in a nutshell. It's very simple, very similar to the cube as well. All we need to do now is do some examples about how to find the volume and how to find the total surface area. All right, guys. So you know I love to do 3 examples. Let's jump right into 3 examples. All right, guys. All right, guys. So we'll have 3 examples now, and we're going to find the volume and the total surface area of these 3 cuboids. Okay. Right, so for the first one here, the volume is equal to the length times the width times the height, right? Which in this case, the length is 7 centimeters, right? We can see that distance there. The width is 3 centimeters, and the height is 4 centimeters, all right? So we're gonna end up with 7 centimeters times 3 centimeters times 4 centimeters. Cool. So the volume is going to be equal to 7 times 3 should give us 21, and 21 times 4 should actually give us 84 centimeters cubed, right? Because it's a volume, so we know it's cubed. All right. Pretty easy, right, guys? Cool. So let's find the total surface area now. So the total surface area is equal to, let's use this one, right? 2 times the width times the height plus the length times the width plus the length times the height, right? So the total surface area would actually be equal to 2 multiplied by the width, which is 3, times the height, which is 4, plus the length, which is 7, times the width, which is 3, plus the length, which is 7, times the height, which is 4. Cool. And we know that this should be in centimeters squared, right? Because we're dealing with the area here. And when you multiply 2 centimeters squared, when you multiply 2 centimeters, 3 centimeters by 4 centimeters, you're gonna get centimeters squared. So in this case, the answer is going to be 3 times 4 should give us 12. 7 times 3 should give us 21. 21 plus 12 should actually give us 33. Then 7 times 4 should actually give us 28. And 28 plus 33 should give us 61. And 61 multiplied by 2 should give us 122. So the answer for the total surface area is 122 centimeters squared. Cool. All right, so for the advent of space here, let's just clean it up and put the answers up here, okay? All right, guys, so the volume for number 1 is 84 centimeters cubed, and the total surface area is 122 centimeters cubed. Cool? Awesome, so we're good there. So let's move on to number 2 now. And for number 2, we can see that we have a very long length, a short height, and a small width as well, okay? So for this case, we need to find the volume. So the volume is equal to the length times the width times the height, right? So the volume should be equal to the length, which is 12 meters, that's the longest part, times the width, which is 2 meters in this case, right? The 2 meters here. And the height is 0.5 meters, okay? It's a very small height in this case. So the volume should be equal to 12 times 2 would give us 24, and then 24 times 0.5 would actually give us 12 meters cubed. Okay, guys? All right, so that's pretty easy, so let's do the total surface area now. The total surface area should be 2 multiplied by the width times the height, plus the length times the width, plus the length times the height. Cool? And in this case, it's going to be 2 multiplied by the width, which is 2 meters, multiplied by the height, which is 0.5, plus the length times the width, which is 12 times 0.5. No, the width is not 0.5. The width is actually, right, the width is 2 meters. Okay, so this is 12 times 2 plus, and the length times the height should be 12 times 0.5 because the height is 0.5. All right, and the total surface area, guys, we should put this in our calculators. 2 times 0.5 would give us 1, plus 12 times 2, which is 24, so that's 25. And then 12 times 0.5 should give us 6, so 25 plus 6 should give us 31. And 31 multiplied by 2 should give us 62, all right? So the total surface area for this question is equal to 62 meters squared. Cool. All right, so for the advent of space as well, we're just going to put that neatly here. All right, so we need to find the volume for this, for number 3. And the volume is equal to the length times the width times the height. And in this case, the height is 4 millimeters. And the width, which is usually down here, in this case, they put it up here. So don't let that trick you guys. It's the same width, right? Same width here, which is the same width here, which is the same width right here. And the width is 3 millimeters and the length is 6 millimeters. So this is going to end up being 6 millimeters multiplied by the width, which is 3 millimeters, multiplied by the height, which is 4 millimeters. Cool. So for the volume, we're going to end up with 6 times 3 gives us 18, and 18 multiplied by 4 should give us 72. All right. So we'll get 72 millimeters cubed. And for the total surface area, we know this is equal to 2 multiplied by the width times the height, plus the length times the width, plus the length times the height, which in this case should be 2 multiplied by the width, which is 3 millimeters, multiplied by the height, which is 4, plus 6 millimeters, which is the length, multiplied by the width, which is 3, plus 6 millimeters, which is the length, multiplied by the height, which is 4. Cool. And we know this should be in millimeters squared because it's the area and it's going to be squared, right? So the total surface area, when we put that in our calculator, 6 times 3 would give us 18, right? 3 times 4 would give us 12, and 6 times 4 would actually give us 24, right? And when we add all of these now, 18 plus 12 is 30. 30 plus 24 is actually 54, and if we multiply 54 by 2, we should get 108 millimeters squared. All right. Okay, guys, so we are finished these 3 examples. Okay, so let's just write it over here. The volume for number 3 is equal to 72 millimeters cubed, and the total surface area is equal to 108 millimeters squared. All right. Awesome, guys. So great. We can do this. All right. We can do these examples and just try to enjoy it, guys. The most important thing sometimes is to just enjoy the process of what you're doing. Right. You'll be surprised how the time will just fly by and you'll enjoy learning mathematics, right? So let's move on to the next shape that we're going to be doing to find the volume and the total surface area. All right, guys. So that's it. And I'll see you in the next lecture, and remember to do your best and God will do the rest.